Perfect. Okay, so this is recording. Awesome. And I hope it stays recording. Alright guys, so I really was debating on whether to make this a video. It's completely unscripted. This is, if I kind of like mumble over my words and stuff, I'll try to edit it. One, I'm really bad at editing, and it's my crippling downfall for not making YouTube videos. But two, I have been doing multitasking of schoolwork as I'm a grad student working on my master's degree, and also watching YouTube because I need something to keep my brain. I'm a multitasker. But I was listening to a YouTube video and I want to follow up on it. The YouTube video, since I can give that person credits, by James Janney. So go subscribe to him if you're not already. He's I don't know if I've actually listened to any of his videos before, but they're brilliant. But basically what he was talking about, and I really wanted to touch on this subject, and I'm just going to dive right into what I want to talk about, is mental health, dopamine, and this idea of I have to do more, I need to do more, and self-fulfillment and all of that. I also, before I say that, just want to say this is just my get up. This is what I feel comfortable wearing and stuff. So I'm not a fancy person or a person that dresses all the time to impress or whatever. I just feel at home like this. And it's freezing outside, so I have a panda hat on. But anyways, to talk about that, I have really noticed this in a lot of people striving to, and there's nothing wrong with it, but people striving to like get to a certain level of what they see to be adequate or successful, or these different hierarchies. And to kind of give you a background of why I'm touching on this, I have a bachelor's in psychology. I'm working on my master's in mental health, but I also love exercising and stuff like that, and just trying to better myself constantly. But that's the interesting thing of what I saw from that person describing what they're talking about with dopamine is we have this amazing brain, and it does some very incredible things, and we have all these different chemicals like dopamine, serotonin. Not all of them come to my mind. Maybe I'll edit this and write all the different ones in the video, but we have a lot of chemicals in our brain, right? And they're feel-good chemicals. You know, this gives us rewards, and this is what motivates us to do things and stuff like that. That's just good. But what he was talking about, and which I actually want to research in the future, is the dopamine addiction, the dopamine rush, and this can be put in many different ways. What we usually think about as addiction is like what substance abuse is or drugs, and yeah, it totally can be. Absolutely, that's a total epidemic, but I don't want to touch on that right now. It's something that I find very interesting is this constant need or want, or this constant desire that's always nagging to, I have to do this, I have to be better, I have to keep going, I'm not good enough. And by all means, I think people should, or anyone should, try to better themselves and obviously, be the best version of themselves. But there's this fine line of where it's you're being better of yourself, and also not comparing yourself or having these over-exaggerated, incapable abilities to be someone else. And before I move on, I forgot to say this in my earlier on before my big rant, and you have to bear with me because this is like one of my first videos. But these are all based on my opinions, what I've learned through either my education or just my own experiences. So these are just all my opinions. I probably put a disclaimer up here and everything. So it can be very different for anyone. Every single individual is different. I also want to touch on Coach Greg too, Greg Doucette, because he talks about circles and how everyone's different, and each individual has their own abilities. But yeah. So there's always varieties, there's always extremes, there's always this person. So when it comes to this dopamine rush, right? It's awesome. You feel fantastic, and it's something that most people want. I know most people, they either want to work a lot of hours, they're like, keep working, keep working. I mean, my brothers are always like, we gotta work, and working's good. We all need to be able to work and stuff like that, but also having this ability to say, I want to completely chill out. Something that I've noticed in my education itself, from my graduate level, is my teachers constantly, not constantly, but they're making sure, they're saying, hey, you need to make sure that you're taking time to refresh, to have self-care. And I think it's underrated. Honestly, I think it's underrated, because maybe other people are like this, but for like me, for instance, if I do like a self-care where it's just and it's different for everyone, but where I just relax, I get bored. And something that he also said, this YouTube guy, my phone went black, so I don't know what the name is, but he made a good point too, where like if you're bored, we're so easily going on social media. There's nothing wrong with social media, and actually it's a fantastic tool. I'm using it right now. But if we don't get this dopamine rush, right? If we're not out doing tons of work or tons of school, and those are all good, but if we just strain ourselves to the max, constantly these extremes in either way, we might just get burnt out and not even know it, or be so, addicted to this idea of I have to constantly be doing better or more or whatever, that we don't really know how to just take a little bit of a chill pill, it's called, except for like on vacations. And even on vacations, I've definitely, some of my family members for sure on vacations are, either doing stocks or, trying to work. I mean, I'm a culprit of this as well. I do education and school on vacations. I've done work on vacations and stuff like that. And I think it's interesting. This is why, and I'm new to this idea. Like, these are just all my opinions. I think there's this false understanding that you have to constantly be going. Or I think it also has a very deep underroot where either you've been through stuff like trauma, PTSD, not always, of course, but if you've been through things and you just have to do things to make yourself feel better, not to think about things, but yourself to feel better, or to feel like you are making it in life, which is interesting, because when I think about it, because I definitely feel this way too, where I'm like, I'm doing terrible, I'm not doing anything, and then my family's like, you're doing completely fine, and I'm like, okay. It's like, the life you live is literally your life. Like, I'm living my life, right? You're living your life, not someone else's life. You're living your life, and life is what you make of it, right? We only have one life, and time comes and goes. Like, once time is, like, I'll never be a teenager again, right? Because I'm an adult. I will never be a teenager again. I'll never be a child again, right? All I can do is move up. So the only thing that I can do is decide what my life is from now up, which is, a basic understanding, kind of. But even like teenagers and stuff, a lot of the teenagers that I talk to nowadays, they're just more extreme, or there's more of a busy hustle to life. And I think it just needs to be more balanced. Like, I think most things in life just need to be balanced. But this idea of going, and this dopamine rush, this dopamine addiction, so to speak, I think it's becoming more of an thing, or this understanding. And honestly, I'm very new at my deep understanding of mental health, as that's what I'm studying. But I think it needs more of a highlight, and there's a lot of different YouTubers out there. I can name a few that have also touched on the subject, and I'm hoping that it kind of like gets bigger. Anyways, that was a huge rant. Basically, I was just talking about, dopamine in the brain, how we need to be careful with it, understand it really well, how it can really do different things to us, but the research is still new, and just taking care of ourselves. You know, we live our own lives, stuff like that. I probably need to edit all this. I may or may not. If I don't, then here are all your bloopers, guys. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm going to really try to post this. So hopefully you'll see it up eventually. I'm also training for the Ironman hopefully in like 2 years. So I ran with my dad the other day, so I'll hopefully post that as well. But yay, I made a video. Yay. Dopamine. Alright, bye.